you're taking the absolute piss out of this great sport. And you're taking the absolute piss out of this great sport.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the yard of streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. It's not just me, Patty P, here in the yard of streams. I'm joined as always by the best of the West you can't forget about, Sara Marshall. Was popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello. Sorry.
Well, that sounds a little different
Yes.
than usual.
Yes. I'm still sick. So
Yeah.
apologies. My voice is probably going to change multiple times throughout the evening. But it is what it is, you know? Got to deal with it,
You
unfortunately.
gotta deal with it. That's why we were not live over the weekend.
Yes.
That and other things. There's kind of a big game on that Sara, while sick, keep in mind, powered through and worked through. So all we'll say about that is go Birds.
Yes.
Go Birds.
Yes.
But that wasn't the only thing that happened over the weekend. A lot of shit went down. We'll talk about that. And then we had Raw last night, which was incredible. I'm not kidding. It may not have been everyone's favorite show, but I think Michael Cole said it on commentary, is that it feels like we're on the road to WrestleMania. With these shows that we're going to see from now until WrestleMania, they're going to have a little bit more of a pizzazz to it, a little bit of an extra feel to it. It's going to be a little different. It's not going to be your standard wrestling show. And we saw that last night with the way the show was done, like the interviews in the crowd, Jackie Redmond interviewing Seth to hype up their match for Elimination Chamber. Feels like they're hyping up matches a lot more weeks before than they were doing, in the previous era.
What I liked was that the matches got a lot of time, and the first two matches of the night were women. So that was really cool. Because that, I think, has been a valid complaint from people in recent weeks or months, that the women aren't getting proper time or whatever. So that was cool, and they put on bangers, which we'll talk about. But yeah, I'm hoping that things will kind of pick up, because there, from what I've seen online, there is like a general feeling of like not a lot of excitement for Mania 41, and I feel like it's something that, I mean, we could explore it if you want, but it feels like something that it could be explained by just comparing it to how we all felt at this point last year, and like, because we don't have that feeling this year, that's why we're kind of like, oh, this year sucks. But I also feel like the build up to Mania this year hasn't been like as great as it was last year. So I think that it's they have a point, but I'm hoping that it'll pick up, and like you said, like things will get a little bit better, and we'll be able to see a vision for the future a little bit sooner. Luckily, we only have a couple weeks until Elimination Chamber, so then that's when like the real build to Mania begins, I would say.
I disagree with those people who are not are trying to compare it to last year, because last year was an anomaly. I don't think we'll see what we saw last year.
Did you see her
for
paw?
Quite some time? Huh?
Did you see Remy's paw? That was what I was laughing at.
No.
Oh,
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I don't think we're ever going to see that again, because of how epic it really was. I mean, you couldn't have write the script, because they didn't even write it. The plan that they had initially was thrown out the window. The plan that The Rock and his people at TKO had, that was thrown out the window. It was something that just cannot be replicated again. And with this year,
Oh,
yeah, I'm out. Did you hear anything I just said?
I did not. You cut off at this year.
This year, it feels like they are going. What the hell?
What?
Um, I had other nonsense.
Oh,
Video playing in the background. It feels like this year they're going back to how WWE normally hypes up WrestleMania, and just with a Triple H little pinch of his own creativity onto it. It feels like they are still following that formula where last year it's shit from everywhere. It didn't really
I
follow that.
I think it was also last year there was like a lot more at stake going into Mania because Roman had been champion for almost 4 years. We knew that The Rock was going to be involved in some way. Cody Rhodes won the second Royal Rumble. Like there was a lot more
Yeah.
going into Mania than there was this year. So I don't know. I think that there's arguments to be made on both sides. That's why I'm hoping that like once we maybe get a little bit more clarity, then
Yeah.
maybe we can start having a conversation of like, okay, is this card going to be good or not? I think it's a little early to say it right now, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm hoping that we won't have many complaints.
I'm hoping we do not either. Ramiro, we hear from the peeps. All signs pointly to CM Punk versus Cody, but he wants to see Seth versus Cody. Nah, no. I
Well,
think there's one man in that chamber that it's pointing to directly right now.
I don't disagree though about it being CM Punk versus Cody. I don't disagree that that could be what it is. I think we
I
could
don't do that
see
either.
that
What?
Cena does not win. I am more intrigued by CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes than I think John Cena versus Cody Rhodes right now. I don't hate that idea, obviously, but I do want I would want Cena to lose if that were what it is. But I feel like Punk and Cody could have a really good story, and that was when both of them could kind of teeter on being good guys, bad guys, and I feel like that's something that Cody needs right now because there's always going to be people who have something to complain about, especially with Cody Rhodes. But I think there are a lot more people that are complaining about him being like too squeaky clean or like kind of boring or whatever. And I feel like he kind of needs a little spice right now. And him going toe to toe with Punk and their history and their careers and how they got in here, it's a lot more interesting. But Seth did just do an interview talking about how he would love to get another crack at Cody, whether that is him just being like, hey, there's a possibility that I could be in the chamber and maybe I'll win, or if this was kind of him putting a bug in our ear to be like, hey, that might be what it is. I don't know. But I don't know that I really want to see Cody versus Seth part 4. Like
I don't need to see Cody
I don't
versus Seth
know.
right now. There's a lot more
Yeah.
shit going on. Sophia loved when LA Knight said that Drew McIntyre was crying like a darn baby. We love that. Sup from the final boss.
Hello.
And yes, we're getting ready for 10 weeks of hell. We're getting
Hell yeah.
ready for it. Alien Technologies
I want to know what he's talking about.
understanding. I want to know what the master plan is.
What is the master plan?
I want to know what the master plan is. Sup to Jay, David, how you doing? Okay, I have a we'll talk about this, Alex. I'm gonna save that question for when we're talking about Liv and what happened there. Hi, John. It's great to see you too. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're here. Where's one more?
Nathaniel said hi.
Where's Nathaniel's? Oh,
He's at
Panzer watching the Chiefs get destroyed, and also Tom Brady will always be better. There you go.
You're right.
That's the best
100%.
shit you've said in weeks.
He's so right.
I think we'll see Roman versus Seth at Mania. I don't
I
think we'll
love
ever
it.
get Rock. At this point, it feels like it's more of a fever dream than reality for
or
Rock.
we get Roman Rock next year.
Yeah,
which I
where's
still
next? Didn't they
they
already
ha-
announce next year's?
it might be an indie. Remember, because they did
That
that
was
deal
yeah,
with
because they did
indie
the
where it was like they get a
deal.
Rumble and a Mania. It might be 2026 that it's an indie, but I don't remember.
Damn, is London ever going to get a
Maybe, but
WrestleMania?
I think they're gonna wait until probably 2027.
That sucks and that sucks that we're gonna see Royal Rumble in Saudi. I still am not
I know.
a fan of that.
Me
Uh,
neither.
I'm not a fan of that. We don't need to talk about the reasons because Sarah, we need to talk about the WWE releasing a bunch of talent over the weekend. What I was
Yeah.
alluding to earlier. I had to check in on you when I saw the news of poor Giovanni Vinci getting the boot.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like most of the names weren't really that surprising. Simply
let me get
because
a
they
list of the names.
hadn't been on TV. It was AOP, Paul Ellering, Giovanni Vinci, Electra Lopez, Sonya Deville, I think was maybe the biggest
That was
one.
the biggest. That was the
But
biggest
like,
shock. Was
but
Sonya
like that
Deville.
tells you what the list was. You know what I mean? Like, because no disrespect to Sonya, but I kind of felt like in a way she was the female version of Baron Corbin. It was like they tried to put her into stories or like create characters with her so many different times and it just never hit. Like it just never clicked with the audience. Like it just didn't resonate with them one way or the other, whether they're supposed to cheer her or boo her. So it doesn't really surprise me that they let her go. Because like there weren't that many people that were like tuning into Raw to watch Sonya Deville or PFC, you know.
No, I agree with that. PFC was much better as individuals and not like they're more of an alliance, not a faction, if that makes sense. Like they don't come off as a team, just more like a group of individuals helping each other out. You know what I mean?
I would say Isla Dawn was also a shock
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the full list here. We have Duke Hudson, Cedric Alexander, both AOP, Paul Ellering, you said, Sonya Deville, you said, Isla Dawn, you said, Blair Davenport. That was
sad.
shocking.
Yeah.
Sad is the better word. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, and then you said the other two of Giovanni Vinci and
Yeah.
Lopez.
Blair Davenport is sad because I think in general the problem that I have is when they intentionally call up NXT people and then they do nothing with them. And we've talked about this when we've talked about the draft every year, that if you're going to call somebody up from NXT, you should have a plan for them right away. It shouldn't be, we're going to bring them up and then we'll kind of like sit and see what happens. No, because otherwise just keep them in NXT. You know, we thought Braun Breaker was going to be called up from NXT a year before he was. So you can't really say he overstayed his welcome in NXT. No, he benefited from that year. And I still think they could do better by him right now. However, he's not sitting in catering the way that Giovanni Vinci was or Blair Davenport was. So I think that Blair could have been like a really good asset to the women's division and they didn't do anything. And I think Giovanni Vinci, although I am biased, if we're talking about mid card, he could have been an absolute killer in the mid card. Because he actually can wrestle really well and he can cut a good promo if you give him a microphone. But they're gonna, I would assume a lot of them will go and continue their careers. Maybe we'll see a few of them back. I assume some of them will go to TNA or AEW.
Yeah, I could see a few going to TNA, honestly. TNA would benefit more of those superstars than AEW would.
Well, yeah, because a lot of it, and I've said this, like a lot of the reason that they'll go to AEW, Tony just wants them to say that he took a WWE talent. That's the only reason.
Done that before. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think if they really want to actually like revamp their career or something, then TNA is the place to go. If not the indies, you know, like the indies are thriving right now. And we've seen how like Cody Rhodes and Matt Cardona have really like made that a big deal again. in recent years. So that's not a bad idea either. And we could see them end up coming back eventually, exactly like Cody Rhodes. Like he left WWE and like Drew McIntyre really became a bigger version of themselves. And now look at what they're doing, you know?
The indies can benefit a lot of people. It's a different avenue that you did not think was possible at this, but now in this time, there's so many different. I mean, look at the WWID program. Look what that's doing to the indies. It's making it relevant. So I love it. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's. Did you take away a banner, or was that?
I didn't.
We're just going right into Raw. Or we're just going right into Raw. We just touch. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because I couldn't really think about what I wanted to talk about on SmackDown because there was stuff to talk about on Raw.
What are we cooking? That shit smells good. Do you not smell? You don't
smell
that?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, you can't smell.
No.
I always forget about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk wrestling.
So, Jey Uso had his 10 minutes of TV time, and we saw Gunther come out to say like, oh, Gunther was me. Okay. I was sitting there and I was like, all right, we get it. We get it. And then Gunther comes out and just rips his leg out from under him. And I'm like, see, that would be me. That'd be like, shut up, move on. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. And then he basically killed a person in the audience.
Yeah. He whipped his jacket, dude.
And I was like, you know what? If I got hit in the face with Gunther's jacket, I wouldn't be happy about it at first, but I'd be like, hey, it was Gunther's jacket. Okay.
He was wearing thank you.
I would say thank you for whiplashing me with your zip up hoodie. That made you a very mysterious person. I didn't know that it was you, Gunther. He kind of dominates him for a while. And I was like, here we go. And eventually Jay is like, you, me, WrestleMania 41, blah, blah, blah. So it's the first match made official for WrestleMania 41. And I mean, I have a lot to say about it, but a lot of it is things I've already said. But I also see people in, I think, we think that he's going to beat him, which I think that's probably what the most of us think. I agree with Kerbin though. Gunther does deserve better. But you know what? They will not be main eventing.
They're not.
They will not be main eventing. I would say whatever Roman's match is, Roman is main eventing night 1. Cody will main event night 2. This is not going to be the main event.
You think Roman will they'll go that way? Yes, I don't think Roman gets a main event this year.
Yep. No, I told you what they're doing. I just told you. They're counting how many main events in a row that this man has had. And I think that they're going to keep that going. But so to make this conversation a little more interesting, because we're kind of on opposing sides of this. We're going to be talking about this for the next 10 weeks, as everybody has said in the chat. I feel like, and I'm not saying this from a biased perspective, and I know that everybody is going to say that. Sorry, Jay, Gunther does not suck. So it's another day, and I'm just going to say, no, he doesn't. I would say Jay losing to Gunther at Mania does more for both of them than Jay winning.
More for both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
lay it.
So this whole idea of Jay being an underdog, right? Like that's what they're really trying to hammer home right now.
Yeah.
When has Jay been an underdog? Like a true underdog. He's
against Roman.
Okay, but he almost beat him, and he is the first one to have pinned him in how many years in that tag match or whatever? So in 4 years, yeah. So he won the Intercontinental Championship. He won the Royal Rumble. He's come really close to beating Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. I think if they want to do an underdog story, and a lot of people have mentioned Daniel Bryan and the yes movement in that underdog story, right? He can't just win easily. Like it just can't happen, because like how how does that make an underdog? It's like with Sammy. They just did it with Sami Zayn. Sammy had to lose and lose and lose and had to start like questioning like, do I have it anymore? Can I do this? Can I be a champion? Like that, you need to see more from that. I think if we're and another reason I would say that it would be better for him to lose is because to me this feels very similar to that fear that people had with Cody Rhodes winning the WWE championship too early. People were very upset that he did not win the championship against Roman at WrestleMania 39, and people were revolting. You and I were our initial reaction
Rip
to
shit.
it.
Initial
Yes.
reaction was rip shit. Okay,
And then after what we saw, what he did over the next year, how everything went down leading up to Mania 40, and what happened at Mania 40 with him winning at the end, made it so much more worth that wait that it was like, okay, I get it. I'm cool with him losing at 39. I would argue that something could be similar with Jay. If Jay wins the title, then what? What happens after that? You're muted.
He would fight KO.
Well, they're on different
That's
shows.
it.
They're on different shows.
It was a joke that Kevin Owens can't get away from the bloodline. That's
Oh.
it.
No, but what I
but
mean-
that's my point, is that's it. Like that, my whole point of the bad joke was that like, that's it. Like it's KO because he's just that weird connection. And then you're going to have one other dude who it's like, Jay, you did it. So I think I can do it and I can achieve my dream. Like that type of babyface dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that will be Jay's title defense.
But
Like,
then
where
that's
he,
the
like,
thing is like,
that's it.
how because the thing is I worry about like doing something too early. You know what I mean? Like I said, like the Cody Rhodes example, it feels like that's too early to just people would have been like, yay, okay, he did it, and then what? Then you have like nothing to look forward to or nothing to root for. Like you got that satisfaction. Now what are you aiming for? Like if I've already 70% accepted that Jay is probably going to beat Gunther. So this is not coming from a place of like, I hope that he loses. But I do think that Gunther benefits from beating him. Do you know the heat he would get if we're trying to make him into a mega heel? There's no one better for him to beat on the biggest stage of them all in what feels like the only opportunity that Jay has to win the title. Like, come on, that is like, that would be intense. The booze, like, to me, that benefits them both, because I also think I would argue, what is the importance of Jay winning the title at Mania? Why does it matter where he wins it?
I don't know. I don't.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, because
I don't
like, it's the biggest stage of all.
Yeah,
That's
but like,
why.
how many people have won their first titles not at Mania? Does that take away from the fact
More
that they
than a
won the
handful.
title? You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
I think Jay. I think it does benefit him. I think the thing is you guys are also not thinking about Gunther at all. No one is thinking about Gunther and how Gunther. What?
No one's thinking about Gunther.
No, no one is except for me. People think that it would be totally cool for him to lose. I don't think so. I really think that it builds more of that underdog story. I think that it hurts Gunther. He'll then be 1-2 at Mania, and he'll have already beaten him 3 times. And you're saying all of a sudden, because it's WrestleMania, he beat Jay, or Jay beats him? What? That doesn't make any sense to me. No, I am not just trying. I'm not. I really not. I'm trying to look at it, because also the thing is, I'm trying to be okay with it no matter what happens. That's the thing.
That's
Like
a good team player.
I need to try to be okay with it no matter what, but I'm trying to look at like what benefits them more, because that's the thing. Like winning and losing impacts everybody. And so when you're putting on a match, the result does matter. It's not just, oh, we need to put the title on Jay because he's super over. First of all, that's not a thing. Otherwise, like, why ever take the title off of John Cena or Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock or Shawn Michaels? That doesn't make any sense. Being super over with the crowd and having a hand movement does not make you over, like, or warrant you being a champion, is what I'm saying. There's plenty of people that are literally Hall of Famers and or WWE legends that never won the championship, and they were plenty over. So that doesn't count in my mind. I agree that they did, but I'm telling you, you guys are gonna get bored. If Jay wins, you're gonna get bored, but that's okay.
They're gonna turn him like they turned on Liv after she beat Ronda in her first title reign.
That's how I feel.
That's
they're gonna
happen.
get bored. That's the thing. That's the other thing, is like, I'm trying to look out for people too. Like I'm not trying to say I'm like a peacekeeper or something. I'm not trying to say that, but like, fans are fickle. They get really behind somebody and they're like, we really like this person and we want them to be the champion. They deserve it. Then they get it and you turn your back on them. And it's like, that's why some people did it with. Well, that's what people did with Cody. He finally got to the peak, and then all of a sudden people were like, fuck this guy.
Oh, they're so bored. People are saying that they're bored of his reign. I'm like, how? It hasn't even gotten started yet.
Well, and so that's why I'm saying, like, there's an argument to be made about the same thing happening with Jay. And it's possible that maybe it doesn't happen, but I really don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. But if we're gonna talk about, I wanted to talk about okay, this is not an argument. Jay has been a star. Jay is 39 years old. First of all, you don't create new stars at 39. I mean, you kind of can at Penta, but you know what I'm saying. Jay's a star. If you're talking about making a single star, sure. But if we're talking about stars, he's already a star. His name it's Jey Uso. He's like one half of the greatest tag team of all time. So I don't agree with that. But the one thing I would say is the 10 weeks of hell or whatever, because that is something that Gunther said. And so that means we have 10 more weeks between now and the Rumble. And I'm sorry, Mania. I kind of feel like they're doing this backwards, because then this story came out that, oh, the plan has been Jay versus Gunther for a while, which then contradicts other things about how, like, oh, Jay didn't even know about winning the Rumble until like a few hours before. It's like, okay, but if it had been there, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like they're kind of building this story backwards. It's like they were like, we just want this guy to be the winner, and then we'll figure out how to make it make sense later. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you're because like Cody winning the Rumble, both times we knew he was going for Roman. But when Jay won it, it's like, cool. Yeah, you don't really know. But then it's like, okay, now we have 2 months to like get you to care about him versus Gunther, because it's like, because that's what we want. We're not having him against Cody. And it's like, that seems backwards to me. Like, why do I care now? Why? Like, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
It feels backwards.
Feels a little backwards.
People really don't like what I'm saying. That's all right.
Yeah.
I understand this. I'm not taking anything what you're saying. However, I'm just saying, like, and I'm okay. William says fans for years always complain the same main eventers are winning, then Jay wins, and people complain. This is just how wrestling fans are, unfortunately. They're fickle. That's like what we were just saying. This is just how they are. And that is what I'm saying. If Jay wins, people are going to get bored, because it's always the chase. People love the chase. It's just like with real life and dating or whatever, or getting a job, your dream job. People love the chase. They don't love things when they finally get it. They get bored. And I think that's what's going to happen with Jay. because I really don't see how is a Gunther world heavyweight title reign boring when he puts on great matches and he's really witty on the mic when they actually let him. How is that going to be less boring than a Jey Uso world heavyweight title reign? It's going to be like
I
a
don't
Rey
know.
Mysterio main of like world heavyweight title reign. Where it was like, I'm saying, because who's going to be scared of Jey Uso as world heavyweight champion? No one was fucking scared of Rey Mysterio because he's 5'3" and world heavyweight champion. Dude can
Yeah, it's
wrestle.
awesome.
No, but what I'm saying is like, that's why he only was champion for like a month. And that is another thing. Jay can't win and then only be champion for a month.
Defeats the purpose.
Exactly. That hurts everybody.
No one wins.
So that's why I'm saying, like, no one wants to listen to what I have to say because I'm a Gunther fan. So why do you have people in here cracking jokes? What's going on here?
They asked where the bread is. There's the bread. So let's move on. Let's move on to damage control.
Okay. Are you annoyed with me or something?
No. What?
Okay. Anyway, so we get
moving.
damage control. Io Sky and Dakota Kai are finally back after her concussion. And they took on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And Liv Morgan got busted open. But this match was absolute killer. And everybody involved, okay? Because a lot of people, and I'm not discrediting, okay? Io Sky is incredible. Could potentially be the best women's wrestler on the WWE roster, so I'm not taking that away. But we also have to remember a tag match is 4 people, so everybody has to do great. And I'm gonna say Io and her moments against Liv, top tier, incredible. Give Liv some credit. That's my girl. This was just great. It was a great women's match that got a lot of time, and I don't know. I thought it was great. It was one of the better women's tag matches that we've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, you can tell when it's gonna be a good women's tag match when you have Io Sky in there. Like, sheer style flowed really well with Liv's, and it just, I don't know, the whole match just felt like there wasn't. It was good. I don't know. I'm trying to think of more words to say about it, but it was very good. Like,
Stop reading the comments.
I'm not reading any comments.
Oh, okay.
I'm literally looking at you, sipping on that water. No, I can't. I know I can't. Like, it was just very good because here's the thing: I see Liv and Raquel being more in the tag picture. Okay, that's why I like this match, because Liv and Raquel showed what they can do, and Io got the win. Io getting the win means more because what it does is that it sets her up for what we saw that happened later on in the show for her versus Rhea. And it gave Liv and Raquel a little bump off the top, which they need right now. They need to cool down a bit, and you need to have Liv in the Elimination Chamber match. Totally get that. And for her and Raquel to be on the page that they're in right now, they need to be fighting for the women's tag titles, because the women's tag titles need to come off of Naomi and Bianca.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, they're setting up to be a good opponent for them.
Well, and you assume that they're going to address the Jade Cargill situation eventually. So like the tag
maybe
titles
that causes it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's inevitably what's going to happen. You know what? And it's funny because that is like, okay, who's going to win the chamber to face Rhea? I don't even know because of what they're doing, but
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm interested. I'm not gonna say I don't really care. I'm interested.
Yeah, it's
seated.
It's confusing. I'm trying to look. There's so many comments. Jay, I really appreciate your dedication to hating Gunther. That is something that I will give you credit for.
I don't want Bianca winning the chamber.
No, I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening, though.
Really?
Yeah, it seems like that is what they want to do. Well, okay, we'll talk about that in a second because we're gonna talk about let's just talk about this then, since we're on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
So because Io lost the qualifier match, and the way that she lost, it was like, okay, they're definitely going to do a last chance match for her to get in, and that is the way that we're going to probably get Io versus Rhea at WrestleMania. But I think that they've announced the final women's matches, the qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber. And even if they haven't, it doesn't matter now because we now know that Rhea is going to take on Io Sky on the Raw after Elimination Chamber for the championship. So this is, I think, one of the reasons why there are people who are complaining about like what Triple H has been doing with the build up to this Mania, because I think a lot of people got their hopes up that this was what was going to be the women's world title match. Rightfully so, because they've what?
This was mine. I wanted this Mania.
Yeah, and there was other people as well because they've teased it so much over the past year, right? And so then seeing, okay, Io's not going to get another shot at it, and then being like, oh yeah, I'll face you after Elimination Chamber. It's like, okay, it seems kind of weird. That seems to completely rule Io out. You know, to be the Mania opponent. And at the same time, it feels like such a waste of a match to only have it on Raw, because this is like this should be a Mania match in my opinion, or like a Big Four PLE, like at the very least.
It seems strange to me because this doesn't feel like a match you have with a clean victory. You know what I mean? So my mind's turning in that way, and I don't know why you wouldn't have just put she faced Liv, but I don't know. It's just a weird decision overall to have this be done after the elimination chamber on the Netflix episode. I just don't get it. I don't.
I think it was how they had her lose. The fact that Rhea accidentally disqualified her. That was like, okay, that feels like you're setting that up to be a match, or you're setting it up to be like, okay, Io will get another chance, like a last chance to get into the match, like they've had for other qualifiers, and they're not doing that. So it kind of feels like maybe, and we talk about this because Triple H has said it, that he plans PLEs and whatever months in advance. And this is like his response to how people responded online. So he's like, okay, we're not going to have that at the chamber. We're not going to do that match at Mania, but here, let's do it the Raw after the chamber because you guys want to see this match. And it's like, that's not what they want though. They wanted to see this on the big stage because you've been teasing it for over a year, and you tease it again before the Rumble just last week, you know? So it's weird, but I do think that's why Bianca's winning, because they've teased that too. They've teased Bianca versus Rhea, and how big of a match is that for the women? That's a huge match. That's also an easy way for her to drop the titles before the tag titles on a random SmackDown.
I was going to say that I do want to see that match as a wrestling fan.
Yeah,
but I'm clouded with the tag team titles being such in limbo right now, with the story of Jade, Naomi, and Bianca, that to throw that match at us, we still have to wrap up what's going on. Like, what? No, she's still attacked. Like, I want to know what's going on there first before. Well, I know they're gonna find a way to, connect it and all this. It made all like that's WWE. They're gonna do that job. But how I feel right now is that they need to finish up what's going on with that little tag team triangle.
Yeah.
Love triangle, whatever.
Well, I think there's like 6 or 7 weeks between Elimination Chamber and Mania. So that's a lot of time for them to figure that out. But then you do have the Jade Cargill situation where it's like, okay, where does she fit into all of this? Does she come back? Does she prevent Bianca from beating Rhea at Mania, and then that's how they kick their storyline off. Like, how does that go? I don't know, but it feels like of the girls that are in the Elimination Chamber and who would make sense to face Rhea, assuming that Charlotte picks Tiffany, then it feels like Bianca is the one that you would want to see the most, you know, like nothing against Liv, but no one wants to see that now, even, you know, me. And if she's going to go after tag titles and she's busy, and like Alexa just returned, you know, Bailey.
Yeah, we got Alexa Bliss in the
that's not
Elimination
happening
Chamber.
though.
I mean, no shit, but like, I mean, we still got her. Like, that's another thing that's got to get.
Yeah, but I think Bianca is probably the way to go right now, because that feels like a Mania match. Like, if we're not going to get what a lot of people wanted, which was Io, then it feels like, okay, then Bianca, you know. Final Boss thinks that Liv is winning the chamber, and Rhea Io sent a screwy finish to make it a triple threat. I did see people saying that.
Okay, all right. If we get in a triple threat and you like, we have to throw Liv in there, I get it, but wouldn't Liv and Raquel be so much better suited in the tag team division?
Well, and main event girl, I would say Liv is still a heel. But yeah, I also know that people hate triple threat matches for titles, because like I don't hate them. I'm not somebody that hates them, but I do think that they can be kind of messy, and that kind of takes away like how good of a match it can be. But I think if we got Bianca and Rhea, then I feel like, okay, I can't really complain, because that's going to be a banger. No. You know what I mean? Yeah, see, and Alex is saying like the same thing, a triple threat. Let's see. You think Alexa versus Rhea is the plan because Alexa got no direction? I know. I feel like, I mean, I don't think that would be a bad thing. I think that it's just that there's no connection right now to like get people excited about that. You know, I feel like they'll have to. Well, there's rumors of her being more involved with the Wyatt Six. So if they're going to do that, then doing that match doesn't push that along. Another women's match that was a banger was Bailey versus Lyra Valkyria.
This was really good.
Which was
really good.
Another elimination qualifier. And Bailey won, which I think we knew. And I think that was the right move anyway, because Lyra is the women's intercontinental champion. So she shouldn't really be in this match. She should be getting attention for her title reign. But again, this was the second match, and the women dominated the first hour, which was really cool and got a lot of time. And I love Bailey doing this, because Bailey has a very busy week. She's going to be working with some of the younger talent in NXT and whatnot. And this was a great moment for her too. And I just hope from this that they actually do something with Lyra. That's all. I just want them to actually
they're going to
act like they care about the women's intercontinental championship. That's all I want.
It seemed like they are caring about it with the interaction that Lyra had with Ivy Nile backstage after her match with Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy Nile pretty much making it a point that I'm coming for that intercontinental championship.
Yeah.
Like my Creed brothers will be going after the World Tag Team Championships. So the seed's been planted there, and I like that. I think that they would put on a very entertaining match. One thing, circling back to the Bailey Lyra match, the actual match, is that I loved how it felt like it was, you know, when you meet your mentor, or you face off with your mentor, or, you know, role model for the first time. Like, you know, I can show you that I proved it. Oh, what's up? Just grabbing.
Yeah. She wants my attention.
It feels like that when you face off against your, you know, role model, showing them that you belong, you know, in the business, you belong in that stage right next to them. And the moves that Lyra was pulling out were pretty wild. There was a lot of, you know, I don't know what the technical terms are or whatnot, but like she was going tit for tat with Bailey. And then there was one spot where Bailey, Remy's going for your tit. Like when Bailey it was, I forget what it was, but went like that and like
Mhm.
hit her. And Lyra looked up like, oh shit. Like I love that spot because it felt like, oh shit, like I'm in the big league. Like just because we were, Bailey buddies or something when I was
Mhm.
moving up, that isn't the energy we're bringing in the ring. I loved it. I'm a huge fan of Lyra, so
Yeah.
and Bailey was the right move to
Yes.
move on.
Well, it's clear that they're trying to put in heavy hitters in both of the Elimination Chamber matches,
Oh, yeah.
which I appreciate because it was expected that they were going to do that with the men, but they don't always do that with the women. And it's like, no, you should be giving them, proper treatment as well. And so they're definitely holding up that end of the bargain with the women's match. So I think it's going to be a good one. And the next one I believe is on SmackDown. We'll see Chelsea Green versus Naomi. Would not be surprised, obviously, if it's Naomi. Chelsea Green is the women's US champion, so she'll have other things. But this could also be the way to set up something with Naomi and Bianca. Maybe Bianca
That's it. Yes,
eliminates
in the chamber. Yes,
Bianca
like Naomi.
eliminates Naomi.
Yes.
Please.
That would be nice.
And there is, this Nathaniel made me think about this. It's really hard for me to imagine Becky missing Mania. But then it's like, where does she come into all of this?
Jade?
Maybe, but if she's going to be, I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know. It is very, I don't know. Okay.
Oh.
I don't agree that he's a heavy hitter, but they consider
No,
him.
star power is a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
You got to take that into consideration. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but star power means heavy hitter too. A lot of people are saying that Chelsea should be in the champion because it is in her home country.
True. I would personally love it because we would finally be able to see the side of Chelsea that we've been advocating for so long, because it's the Elimination Chamber. It's a big stipulation. You're allowed to do basically whatever you want. And so that is a place where Chelsea thrives, and yet people don't know. So like I would be super into that because it would be great for people to finally be able to take her seriously beyond her silly character that everybody loves. But I mean, I guess if that's the case, then sure, but they could also put her in the show. Like she can defend the US title in Toronto and it still be like the same, right? Like as long as she's on the show, that's what matters.
Yeah, they could do a match. Like honestly, if you want to run back Misha and Chelsea in another ridiculous stipulation match, I'm honestly for it for the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
There was four matches on the last one. You can add this to be a fifth or sixth if you want to throw a more legit match on there. Just anytime Chelsea is on my screen, I am entertained and I'm watching it. And that's the difference between her and a lot of other superstars, both men and women, right now, that when they're on screen, you just know what they're going to do. You know what the outcome is. You know what's going to happen. They do this shtick, whatever. When Chelsea Green gets on screen, you have no idea what's going to come out of that girl's mouth. You have no idea what antics she's about to do. And that's why she's such a fantastic first champion. You just never know.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I don't know. It would be kind of a weird look, I would say, for them to put Chelsea in, but not Lyra, because you assume that the reason they didn't put Lyra in is because she's already a champion. So it would seem kind of weird. But I don't know. I feel like as long as she has a match or is there in some capacity, then that idea of her, doing it in her hometown is kind of like, okay, like it. But anyway, moving on to Penta was not on the show. He was actually on Main Event, I think, before the show, or on Speed. I don't know what he was doing. He was on the show before Raw. And it seems like we're teasing multiple feuds for him. And I'm kind of into it because I feel he just is immediately making the mid card more interesting. And he could, obviously he's going to get to a point where he probably could be the World Heavyweight Champion or WWE Champion. So I'm not saying he can't, but right now he's in the mid card and he is teasing stuff with Ludwig Kaiser Braun Breaker in the Intercontinental Championship, and Pete nobody's Butch Dune. So I honestly I don't know what I'm looking forward to the most, because I feel like no matter who he faces, it's gonna be fire. I mean, personally, I'm more invested in Ludwig Kaiser and Braun Breaker, because we've already seen him versus Pete Dune. But I don't care. I love what they're doing with Penta right now. He seems like the sweetest man on earth from interviews, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I listened to the CVV interview. He's a
yeah,
very wholesome
he really
dude.
is.
And he's very soft spoken,
Mhm.
and he it was he just loves the business.
Yes.
He just loves what he does. He's so grateful to be in WWE, and I'm not. I can't tell you how many times he said that Rey Mysterio is his idol.
Oh,
I mean, the Lucha connection
yeah.
is very strong. Even though he loves him so much, he did say that he wants to be the first Penta, which I was like, thank God. All right, we're not trying
Yeah.
to.
Well, and I think that's important because I feel like since WWE brought in Rey Mysterio, any luchador, especially a masked luchador, they always just try to make them the next Rey Mysterio. And it's like, it's okay for more than one of these guys to exist at the same time. You know, it doesn't have to be Rey Mysterio and the guy who's going to pass Rey Mysterio. It's like, no, there's room for more than one masked luchador here. It's totally fine. And I like that they're going about that with Penta, because it's like, Penta's no spring chicken. You know, we're talking about building new stars. Dude is almost 40. He's not new to the game. People are very familiar with who he is before he came to WWE. So there's no reason to treat him like he's a nobody, or like, you know, a puppy following Rey Mysterio around. No, he is a guy that people want to see, and they know who he is because he's so good. I do agree with Richard here saying that it seems like they're setting up a multi-man IC title match, and I don't love these kinds of matches because that's like what they did with the tag titles last year. And it's just very hard to pay attention to when there's just so much going on. But I do think if they do, like, I don't know, a 4-man or 5 or 6-man, I guess, for the IC title, sure. Maybe they do another ladder match or something like that, just like they did with the tag titles, sure. I feel the Intercontinental sphere has that right now. I mean, we just saw, since we can talk about this, AJ Styles squared up to Braun Breaker too. That makes it seem like they're going to throw him into the Intercontinental Championship realm as well, which I'm super into for AJ, actually. You're muted.
He needs to be in a title picture of sorts.
Yeah.
With his coming back, there's no other deep feud that you can just throw him into right now. And a guy like AJ Styles needs to be in a title picture, especially with Braun Breaker as champion right now. What a banger they would throw on together.
Yeah, and I think that'll be interesting because I mean, if we're believing that Jay is going to win the title at Mania, then obviously AJ can't be going after him right now. They brought back AJ as a babyface, so that's not happening anytime soon. And I think it's cool for him to win the Intercontinental Championship. He hasn't yet, has he?
Yeah.
He has already. Okay, I remember.
His AJ Styles is the Grand Slam champion.
Oh, okay. I only remembered the U.S. title. But anyway, I think he would be.
That's insane. He is and John Cena isn't.
I know, right?
Crazy.
Just shows you how different things are. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think, I don't know, he could kind of be like a stabilizing force, I guess, for people who maybe aren't as like super interested in the Intercontinental title realm right now. Because I think Braun Breaker definitely brings that out in some people, but Kaiser doesn't. You know, I guess Penta would too, but I don't know. They'll put Penta. Yeah, no, they'll have to have a couple good guys in there.
Yeah,
Penta and AJ Styles, brother, don't. Oh
That
god.
would Dave definitely. You could find a match of theirs from New Japan or something online.
Probably.
Definitely
It's
could.
like Final Boss said that they should do Penta and Chelsea Green again.
They
I
mentioned
mean,
that on the interview. It was so
yeah.
funny. He was like,
Also,
she
yeah, and Io
Yeah.
Sky, Kyrie Sane, he's faced
Sane.
them all. Um,
It's like,
yeah,
good
no,
job,
I
man.
think
These
this would be
girls,
really
it's
good.
awesome.
And yes, AJ versus Dom will be a one-off. He's just wanting to.
I did some. That match could be awesome.
It's
That
going
match
to be
could
awesome. I still love. I love what they're doing with Dom because when Rhea was around and Damien was around, these types of matches were made because they kind of forced him to like go out there and be like, oh, go talk some shit to them, and then it just kind of happened
Yeah.
and he didn't want that. So I like that he's like doing this now and it's like, no, he's cool with facing AJ. Like it's not necessarily what he wanted, but he's not running away from it. You know what I mean?
No,
Which
yeah,
is
exactly.
some nice character development. Because when he was just running away like a scared puppy, it was like, okay, this is funny or like whatever. It goes, it's fine for now, but they can't keep doing that with him because like, when are we ever supposed to take him serious? So yeah, so we'll be seeing that next week, right?
Yes, next week, AJ Styles versus Dirty Dom Mysterio.
Daddy Dom.
I will be seated.
Yeah,
Very
and
much seated.
we also saw some more development within the Judgment Day. Liv Morgan and Daddy Dom were saying that they wanted a new member in Judgment Day because JD McDonough is going to be out for the foreseeable future. Finn has kind of been around and not around. So Dom felt like they've been shorthanded, but Finn is not interested in this at all. But let's entertain it for a second.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's entertain it. That's what we do on the show.
Who would be a good new member?
AJ Styles.
They're not going to do that though.
They're not going to do it, but it's
no. But let's say realistic. Like who they could.
Low-key, it could be realistic, honestly.
Okay, well, I still think it won't be.
Finn Balor joined and kicked Edge out. Like I don't.
Yeah, but Finn needed a change. Like they just brought AJ back. I don't think they're going to do that.
I mean, if you want to go out there, you want to start way out there outside the box and work ourselves in. Aleister Black.
Ooh.
I'm out. I'm at the mountain and I'm walking back to the house.
I don't think so.
It's a good option.
It's not a bad option, but it really just depends on what he's trying to do. Because assuming he comes back, that's assuming that he comes back.
This is all assuming he's going to sign a deal, but
because he might want he might not want to be in a team again. First of all, like a faction.
He wasn't.
He might also want like more of a darker persona than what Judgment Day is right now. Like he would have been really good at like the beginning of when Judgment Day, but now the way that they've changed it a little bit, I don't know about, but that because honestly, when I was thinking about this, when they said this, I was like, but who? I mean, it could really be anybody because Carlito is in Judgment Day now. Like, I mean, there's no real parameters for like who could be in the group because who would have guessed that Carlito would be in Judgment Day? But because I think there's an argument to be made that they should have another member if JD is going to be out for months, which from what we understand, he will be.
I mean, yeah, you should.
And that would add a little bit of interest to the Judgment Day. I just could not think of anybody that felt like, oh, this would be a good option. Dylan says R-Truth.
Karrion Kross. I'm just saying, people.
Not bad.
Or someone from NXT.
Especially, they just got rid of all his guys.
I know.
But
someone from NXT, I'm trying to think.
And the thing is I feel like what they're trying to do with Judgment Day is kind of confusing because you kind of can't tell, like, are they trying to keep Judgment Day alive? Are they trying to keep this going? Are they trying to make it more interesting? Are they trying to do anything with them? Or is it just going to gradually disband? And I feel like because we don't know, it's kind of hard to be like, okay, who should they add? Or what is this? Or what's best? Because it's like, for the last couple weeks or over a month, it feels like we're seeing the breakdown. Like Finn is going to get kicked out, or these guys are going this way and these guys are going that way. And I guess JD getting hurt messes that up a little bit, but I still don't feel 100% comfortable with the longevity of Judgment Day.
I have a great guess.
Okay.
This is, we said new member.
Yes.
It's the word member. Roxanne Perez.
Well, that's not bad. Another girl, but I mean, not bad. Well, and I feel like if they kind of got back to their roots of like why they became Judgment Day, that really does fit with Carrion.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
So like if they wanted another dude, then that makes sense, because all he wants is for people to like see themselves for who they are and like embrace the evil within them and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but
New Day.
Yeah, but Judgment Day has kind of really veered away from the origins of why the group was created. So that's why it's like now they're just a faction of like heels that are annoying to people.
If you put Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston in it, then they'd be the new Judgment Day.
Yeah, no.
That no. 1 out of 10. Was that like a 4?
I guess.
Whatever.
So Logan Paul is scared of CM Punk, and the reason why I'm saying this is because that man had a totally different voice when he was talking to CM Punk in that ring, and I chop it up to fear, because he's never come face to face with CM Punk, or like never had to go mic to mic with Punk. I thought it was weird. It like stood out to me immediately. I was like, who is this guy? Like, why is he talking like that? Like, he didn't sound as comfortable with what he was saying as he normally does. And to me, it was like, he knew Punk can go off script in 2 seconds. And if he does, he did not have, he's like, how do I make a comeback? You know what I mean? Like, it's that uncomfortable feeling of like, you don't know what could happen. And then you don't want to choke in front of all of these people. So it's like,
yeah,
but you feel unprepared because you want to have a good comeback, but it's CM Punk. Like, and I'm sure
booed out of the stadium.
I know it's crazy. I want to see if that continues, because Punk brought it up. It really was, Dominic Mysterio level heat. And that has just been happening the last couple times that we've seen Logan. So I'm wondering if that's going to continue, because if it is, that's insanity.
You know what it feels like to me is he's getting the "you're not welcomed" type of boo from the fans. You know what I mean? He's not getting the "boo, you're a bad guy, so I'm gonna boo because that's what you do."
Mm-hmm.
He's getting the heat, or the boos, I mean, where it's get away from what we're doing. You are not welcomed here. Yes, you're fantastic in the ring, and we understand that, but your track record is following you, and that doesn't go well with wrestling fans. It's a very niche community.
Mm-hmm.
And if you step into their world, you can't have the past that you had and just expect to be, what's up, guys? Look, I'm just trying to do some moves and win a championship or two. It's like, you can't. No, that doesn't happen.
Then he also didn't really present his argument to boo Punk instead of him very well. It was just like, oh, don't boo me, you should be booing him. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, tell me why, Logan. Like, because there are people like me that don't like either of you. Tell me why I should be booing Punk instead of booing you. I don't know. I wonder if this is anything that we're gonna see in the future. I did think it was funny that Punk like could not keep a straight face. That it was like, oh, like he can't take Logan seriously. It's like, what is this? Logan's music changed also.
I honestly couldn't hear it again because the boos. Like,
no, he got Def Rebelled, I think.
He got Def Rebelled?
Well,
that's what happens when you partner up with WWE.
Yeah. I mean, I assume. I mean, it's his song actually has words more than "Hey yeah" or whatever this is friggin' song.
I just remember being "oh
yeah
whoa.
No yeah no, it actually has words now and whatever. I don't know.
Oh.
I couldn't hear what it was saying, but it was there. So Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio was the main event to qualify for
really
the
good,
Elimination
though.
Chamber. It was a very good match. I think it just shows you too, like how good Rey Mysterio still is, because dude is 50 and Logan Paul's like 27. And he was in there, like, I don't think you would necessarily have known that there was that big of an age gap between them. I mean, Logan Paul's crazy. I mean, I hate giving him credit for the things that he does in the ring because I don't like him, but like I mean, it is what it is. And I think we all knew that because he was facing Rey Mysterio, he was going to be in the chamber. Like,
You're not going to see Rey Mysterio in the Elimination Chamber. I said this on the last show we were on.
Well, I almost convinced myself too that Logan wasn't going to wrestle on Raw. Dude has never wrestled on Raw or SmackDown. And I was like, he's going to try to get out of this. There's going to be some sort of story where he's going to try to get out of this. So I was actually happily surprised that he wrestled on Raw, because he had previously said he would not do that. He said, you know, I only perform on the biggest shows where I get the biggest paycheck, blah, blah, blah. And that, of course, is not Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't love that he's in the chamber just because I feel like he gets handed these opportunities. But I mean, the fact that they put him against Rey Mysterio was obvious. So there's not a whole lot.
What do you think about people saying that Logan Paul's ripping off Hangman's moveset?
I am not someone who watches AEW enough to even have.
But you're familiar with Hangman, though.
I know, but like, I don't know, like, you know, the stuff he does. The thing is he's being trained by people at the Performance Center. So
yeah,
I mean, and everybody does moves that somebody else does or did. So I think that, you know, I don't want to stick up for Logan, but like, I highly doubt he's sitting there watching AEW. First of all, he doesn't even really watch WWE programming when he's not there. So I highly doubt he's sitting there watching the competition. And I highly doubt that he's specifically going after one of the top guys in the competition and trying to purposely do the same things that he does. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, who cares? Most people aren't going to know unless you really study like what people do. But again, everybody steals stuff from everybody. Like, what? I don't know. I don't care.
I don't really. I don't care all that much because everyone steals from everyone. Everyone's doing some variation of everyone's moves. I mean, how many people have you seen do a destroyer?
Or I don't know. Everybody loves the RKO. You realize that's a diamond cutter.
It's a cutter. Power bomb.
Yeah. Like, let's be real. Some of your favorite stuff was done by somebody else, you know, like. So I don't know. I feel like, who cares? He's learning from people. They're teaching him what stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't care.
Why is Roxanne dressed up as Bayley?
Because she's probably just trying to taunt her, you know. And then next week we get the final Raw, I'm assuming, qualifier between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. I can only assume Mr. Seth Rollins is going to win, and Fergie Ferg will not, to be in the chamber.
Yeah, it's Seth Rollins.
Yeah. You know what I think is interesting though is I'm curious to see how long they really have Roman out for, because you assume he's missing the Elimination Chamber, but like, he has to come back like not long after that, because like, how do you set up something with him for Mania if you don't?
I have a feeling that the last chamber spot is going to be like some elimination match, qualifier match, and Roman's going to do what he did to Bray and Braun Strowman, wreck everyone and leave and just take the spot. Any type of thing.
Yeah, I guess I guess he doesn't have to be out as long as like what they're trying to do with like Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, because I'm like, doesn't he kind of have to be in the chamber match? I don't feel like he wants to work a chamber match though. That's the thing. Like if he doesn't want to do SmackDowns, it's hard for me to believe that he would
What
do
if
a
he
chamber.
what if he showed up at the chamber as Seth was the final two with CM Punk or Cena, and he showed up, cost Seth the victory.
I
That set
mean,
it off. That's just easy
yeah,
way to do it. May not be the best way, but
it's possible because I mean the rumor that has been going around about what his Mania match is going to be is him, Seth, and Punk in a triple threat. I think that's terrible. But if that's not what it is, and it is a singles match, then we still need to see some sort of reason for him versus Seth or him versus Punk. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen at the chamber, but it has to happen like right after the chamber because you can't. I know that there's 6-7 weeks between the chamber and Mania, but you still need to get people interested in what Roman is going to do. I don't know. And then last but not least, before we before the show ended, or it did end, and then a lot of us did not see this, was as Raw was going off air, Rey Mysterio was attacked by the New Day, and then apparently they also attacked the LWO.
The LWO tried to come out and save Hefe, Rey Mysterio, but then we're also attacked by the New Day, and as the show went off air, they're attacking Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. Security takes them out. Xavier Woods finds a chair and nails the chair. Hits Rey Mysterio's leg against the steel steps with it. I love this new edgy. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the edgy New Day. This whole heel run. Oh, it's incredible.
So
all because they got booted out of the locker room.
I know yeah. So I feel like our conversation before we went live was interesting and about how WWE goes about these moments of like, back in the day when Raw was on not TNT.
Television.
What channel
USA.
was it? No.
TNN.
Yes, TNN. And they would go over until like 11:06, 11:09. Like you would get an extra little bit. They would go over so that you could see some more, but they would also end it, and you didn't get to see the end of like, oh, what was going on between these two and how did this end. And now that they don't have that same restriction with Netflix, and Triple H is trying to keep it on that sweet spot of 2.5 hours every single week, there's no reason really for them to have a moment like this where it's like, oh yeah, this is what we have planned for the show at the end, but it gets cut off. But I do think that in certain instances, it's not a bad idea because, like you said, and you can say it again, because of what it does for the fans, like what it forces them to do.
It forces the fans to go to the social medias. It's pretty much it's forcing the fans to go to their social medias to check what happened. It's getting that engagement up. It's getting fans to interact with other fans online and essentially just getting their interactions, their views, their everything up on social media so that you're constantly watching the product. So the show ends. It's like, oh, what happened? Oh, well, I'm just going to go on my day. No, you got to grab your phone. You have to go check out what just happened. Why are the New Day coming out and attacking Rey Mysterio and my screen's going black and it's going to the next show I have queued up on Netflix? No, I'm going to grab my phone and see if WWE posted the clip already. Well, they didn't. Well, other people are talking about it. It's all about that cycle of fandom that they're doing. And it's something that before they tried to do, but didn't execute it well enough, where now Triple H is doing a fantastic job of executing it because he's leaving you on such a cliffhanger, on such, high and dry where you got to climb to find what's going on. It's a great tactic to use to get, social media interaction, whatnot. I just like it too because it doesn't make the show boring.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the show seem like it's dragging. Like a lot of people are saying, well, you're on Netflix. You have more than 3 hours. Why didn't you this just be on the show? No, because it would have lasted. And then you're watching New Day and all them just, walk out, whatnot. And then
Yeah.
the show fades like, oh, that's it? Really? No, it's more interesting to stop the show when they're beating them up and then have that as, I'll compare it to like a post-credit scene.
Mhm.
Everyone wants the post-credit scene because they just sat through the movie, saw credits. Why are we getting a post-credit scene? Why is this so important that they're doing it? And it's
Mhm.
not like it's not like what they used to do back in the old days where once the camera goes off, it whatever they do is not canon. You
Yeah.
can have the Undertaker doing a spinneroonie or trying to get the
Yeah.
Undertaker to do a spinneroonie. No,
Yeah.
this shit matters. Just because one camera's off doesn't mean another one's off because you got 30,000 cameras in the arena around you. You're always on, so why not just pivot into that? It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that as long as they do it like sparingly, because like
Oh, don't do it, Kurt.
yeah, I think it just needs to make sense when they do it. And then that's fine. And I feel like it is it's not a bad idea to do just because they are now on a platform where they can go as long as they want to. Like there needs to be some sort of intrigue left or a reason for you to watch next week or for a reason to go to the website or to the YouTube or to the Twitter. Like you said, like they're going to want to keep doing that even more so now that they're on Netflix because they are being viewed by like an entirely different audience.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't disagree. But anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, final boss is one more question. Speak of
Oh,
the
okay.
LWO, do you think they will push Zelina in the mid card? I would not mind if she won the US title off of Chelsea at some point. It seemed like that's what they're teasing. We saw that on SmackDown, little interaction that Chelsea, Piper, and Zelina had. It'd be a great first feud, honestly, to make her seem important on the SmackDown roster, something that she wasn't getting on Raw, being
Yeah.
stuck in that LWO vortex. I would love this to be a little feud rivalry because they're both so entertaining in so many different ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they know their characters very well, and they could make magic if given the green light.
Well, and I'm assuming, and this might be wrong, but because they specifically moved Zelina from Raw to SmackDown, you would like to believe that that means they have plans for her on SmackDown, because otherwise they didn't have to transfer her from show to show. It seems kind of silly. There was no reason to do it. It's not like the draft just happened. So I would like to think that means that they're going to actually do something with her over there. And there's going to be room for that because of, if Bianca does win to face Rhea, that takes her out of the women's championship on SmackDown. Bayley just left. Charlotte is probably going to be going after Tiffany, so that takes her out of that. It's like the women are going to be focused on other things, which creates a big opportunity for Zelina.
Yeah, agreed. We need to see Selena get a big chance. We need to have her in the loop here. WrestleMania season, we need to get some fresh faces in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need it to happen. So thank you guys for tuning into this edition of the Raw Rewind presented to you by Pits and Sarah's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Subscribe, hit that bell notification know every time we go live. We post videos, shorts. And if you're on other places, like the TikTok, we're on there, No Nights Off Show. Go check it out. And follow our personal social medias in the links in the description below. There's a lot of them. We've talked enough today, Sarah. Your voice needs a rest. Go find a lozenger, please.
Yeah.
God, go grab that. Maybe some hot tea as well. And while Sarah gets better, hopefully you guys do too. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you gotta do is try. We'll see you Thursday. Let's go.